Okay, welcome back to Hindustan Astrology. I'm Katya, and in this episode of Interviews with the Gurus, I have on my new friend, Brittany Maxey of Sarvani Designs. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Oh, thanks so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah, you're most welcome. So Brittany has the most amazing Vedic astrology and Ayurvedic design company where she designs jewelry and other things coming up, all designed as remedies to help you align with the ideas and principles of Jyotishi. And really everything she makes are remedies. And so these are things that help you bring yourself into balance and back to a state of well-being. So tell me about, how did this start? Like, were you an artistic child? Did you make stuff as a kid? What got you into astrology and jewelry?
Oh, wow. Yes. So I'm definitely an artistic child and still that. Just wow, like just nature in general. I've always enjoyed being outside and playing. And I remember probably my first design was with like natural beads, and paper that my mom still has to this day, which is hilarious. But she's always been a fan of my jewelry, and thank God I can make something really beautiful for her now. So what started was I was in Ayurveda school and I was healing myself so I could heal others. And I was introduced to Jyotish. I was like, what is this? I've only heard of Western astrology. And then I went to see a Vedic astrologer, and she recommended a gemstone, which would be this emerald here.
Wow.
Yeah, because I'm a Virgo rising. So Mercury's my ruling planet, and Mercury is in my 11th house. So I was just fascinated, like, wow, what a gemstone can do something for me, help me. And I just listened, to her recommendations. And then I actually ended up moving to Thailand during this whole situation. And I was still in school for Ayurveda, but I had fallen in love with an ex-fiance, and I was going to eat coconuts and have avocados all day long. And
Sounds good.
I started applying for jobs that I had no, background in applying for, like to be with a fashion designer. And I ended up landing this job. The pay wasn't that great, but it was with a Westerner, and I started learning the ins and outs of first business, which is the Mercury thing, right? And I felt I like blame it all on this, gemstone that was bringing me luck and this like learning and expanding. And looking back now, I learned, so much, not only about like fabrics, because I was interested in natural dyeing too, using Ayurvedic herbs. And I was doing some of that, and I still love to do that. So my hands have always been like, yes, make something, create something to beautify the world, right?
Yes.
And that's just always been in my heart. And then I wanted people to like experience it and not maybe have to pay so much for. This was like my whole tax check. And so I've made Sarvani to have, it's not super expensive, but it has, I look at the charts, and I usually do like a 20-minute consult about the gemstones, which is something that you can find on a link on my website, or on my Instagram as well. And I connect with the person, and I tell them maybe whatever gemstone they should wear, but I usually also incorporate the nakshatra of their moon sign as well, because that's the filter that we are perceiving this reality.
Yes, the Sukshma Lord is so important. You got to funnel it down.
Yeah. So with that, I don't recommend, like, if it's the moon, it's like in Hasta, I wouldn't recommend, say, the pearl, but I would do a subsidiary stone like moonstone or selenite. So I play with all different types of gems, and I'm not just stuck to like the ancient texts. And I do respect all of that so much. But I just know we're in the modern world, and I love like weird gems like kunzite or, you know, like tanzanite. And that's not normal things that we are talked about from the ancient texts.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah.
Wow. So, and then you grew up in, what state did you grow up in?
I'm from Virginia.
Virginia. Okay.
Yeah.
And then the Ayurvedic school's in New Mexico, right?
So I did not go to Vasant Labs. I went to Dr. Halpern, the California College of Ayurveda in Nevada City, California, which is one of the second oldest colleges of Ayurveda in the States. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know much about the schools. And then you went to Thailand. So that's a lot of traveling you've done.
Yeah. Well, and I started, no, it's crazy. And then I bounced back to South Korea because I was a teacher teaching English. And that's where I started one-on-one learning how to wire wrap and focus on becoming just focused on jewelry. And then when I came back to the States, I lived in South Carolina where my dad was. My stepmom was sick and I wanted to help her Ayurvedically. So I started Sarvani there, and that was great. But my whole focus was really on the jewelry business and not so much on Ayurveda. And now it's circled back through with 2020 happening, everybody getting sick. I'm like, oh my gosh, we've got to empower people to their health and their digestion and what is going on in the world. And
yes. And, you know, this is the thing, like, since I've been working with the elixirs and have been sharing them with people around me, which aren't very many, but there's a few. But, you know, you and I work with subtle energies and we're immersed in it. We're kind of like desensitized to it. And I forgot the power of these subtle energies on people that do not work with them. And I, you know, worked with the elixirs with a few of my friends, and I mean, you could just see the transformation in their face. So it just, the whole being changes. And right now we're at such a critical time in human evolution that, you know, we need to, everybody needs to get these remedies out. You know, we need to just try to be like little, you know, energy resonators, you know, and as we're resonating to these higher frequencies, they ripple out, you know, and I just, it's amazing the power of these subtle energies.
I agree. It's crazy. I mean, we take in everything from our five senses. It's a known fact. So what you're watching and seeing, you know, and smelling and tasting, if we aren't digesting it, then we are creating imbalance in the body. And it's really simple when you have something like your spritzers to be like, okay, you know, I need this for my mind, which I would assume like you're doing it for the moon too, potentially. Well, or however people gravitate towards, right? Because that's kind of how my jewelry is too. I'm like, well, you could do this, but then it's like, oh no, but I like this. And I'm like, okay, then your intuition.
Yeah, you know what you like. And like, that's the thing. I've been working with I made myself a custom blend for my debilitated planets and I love it. But I find myself going constantly back to the Rahu one. You know, I just can't get it up. And that's because Jupiter's getting ready to go over my Rahu pretty soon. So it's like...
Right. And Rahu,
you know, and people know they smell it and they're like, oh no, I want that one. I want that one, you know? And it's like, but your chart says, no, I want that one.
Yeah, right. Transits play a big role in it all. Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
So yeah, I will also look at like the Dasha cycle and what's happening, and also the Tithi Pravesh year, you know? So if maybe somebody wants jewelry for this year, that's an option too, which is nice.
So now tell us about the different kinds of jewelry that you make. So I know you've got earrings, you've got necklaces. So let's actually start with the necklaces and the custom necklaces that you do.
Yeah, so one of my best sellers has been the Tiffy necklace, which I'm actually wearing. I don't know if I can show you this exactly, but this is my Tiffy, the fourth. I'm like, what? I'm blanking on the name. And together it creates a full moon because the full moon is the most prosperous. It has the light, right? You
Right.
have all the darkness. Um, so I just thought it was cool. This is completely original, my design. And then I added the gemstones, little seed beads almost, all genuine, of course, gemstones. But for the best gemstones I should be wearing. And this has been really popular because it comes in so many different ways. I just had someone order it with their whole family, and the nakshatras of their family, their husband, their new babies. So that was really sweet. So I do a lot of moon stuff. I mean, I do, of course, earrings. I'll make 2-in-1 or 3-in-1, where it's like a pendulum bracelet or a pendulum necklace. You can take it off and you can have your pendulum there, just so you can have if it's a yes or if it's a no, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, and then I have stretch bracelets on the site and some rings. Since moving, I haven't really had the space to pull out and do a lot of like my soldering metallurgy work, but it's there. It's like just waiting, you know, always. So anything is unlimited. I do a lot of electro plating, so that's where it's basically at bottom is copper, and then the gold gets morphed, or the silver. You turn on the electricity, and it just goes and makes a really beautiful, kind of like encapsulates the stone. And still working on trying to make sure that is, I always want the back to be open or it'd be touching you. So with the rings, that's kind of a little challenging. But for the most part, yeah, I make everything.
Wow. Yes, I can't wait to order a necklace.
Oh, yeah, I can't wait to make one for you.
Yeah, I love jewelry. As you can tell, I love stretchy bracelets. I can't get enough.
Yeah.
So what kind of stretch bracelets do you have available on your website?
So I currently have one with all the Navagrahas. So that's all the 9 gems of the 9 planets with the lava rocks. So you can drop in the essential oils on those.
Oh,
And then basically, I mean, moonstone, just they're plain. Moonstone, amethyst, lapis. I think I'm updating stuff still, but basically what goes with the planets. And I have this information guide that has all of the planets related to the chakras, which can be found on my Instagram link tree. That is a free download, which is a nice guide because it tells you everything. It also tells you the rashis, or the zodiac sign, and Leo's on the right, Cancer's on the left, and what gemstones correlate to which ones.
right. Very good.
Yeah.
Yes. I made a postcard too of what goes with the elixirs
Oh, nice.
that I'm going to send out with our sets. So I'll grab that in a minute and show you. But let's talk about the earrings because I've noticed some really beautiful moonstone ones you posted the other day. Oh, the moon ones.
I'm like, which one? Oh yeah. So the moon ones. Oh yeah. Oh, now I know what you're talking about. Yeah. So I really try to just make one of a kind items because we're all unique and one of a kind people.
Yes.
And it's kind of fun to see like how it gets found to its owner and who ends up owning it. Because I want to build relationships with these people that own Sarvani. Like, I think it's important that I like know you, and I want to like see how you do and where you go in life, and
Yeah,
and
what
I
your
want,
style is, because some people might want something really simple, or some people might want something more ornate, or
yeah. Yeah, totally. So yeah, there's little shapes of moons and there's stars, and sometimes I'll add the 9 gems down the back of necklaces so that the planets are like the symbolic. Like we don't always see them. Well, we don't see them at all ever, really, unless we go looking for them, right? But they're there and they're always either holding us, right? Because graha means to hold, or we're appeasing them.
right. We're always in their grasp.
Yeah.
And yeah, you can't run away.
No, karma's coming no matter what, right?
That's right. So you might as well like kind of take the edge off as much as you can.
Yeah, which is something that with your elixirs does instantly. I think that's an instant thing. I think with with fasting, it's like 16 weeks to start to notice something. With gemstones, it's also a feel. It could take a minute, it could take an activation of that planet too.
Right.
And with all of my stuff though, there's so much intention that goes behind it, because it's also like, what day am I making it, and what happens after I make it, and then and that's a whole blessing and a download that I usually write up for the person, something that they need to hear that comes through me, that's not me, so yeah, it's all super super special.
Yeah, it is, and that's why it's not just jewelry.
Mm-hmm.
It's a prayer, and it's something that you wear in your body. It's really, it's kind of like an amulet or even a talisman. Magical talisman is something that you use, what we would call muhurta or electional astrology. When you're trying to make something happen, you want to use magical talismans. And so having an object that you can focus the intention into is really important. And then to put it on your body, that's something even better.
Yeah, exactly. And it's funny that you did that and like held your heart, because I will typically say, like, take it in your right hand and bring it to your heart, and then think about 3 things that you want to manifest, or like say 3 things out loud. They're not 3, just 1 3 times.
Repeat it 3 times.
Yeah, so repeat it 3 times. Exactly.
Yeah. And also they help with our daily mantras, just having something that reminds you of the planet while you're doing your mantras really helps. And for the elixirs, that's how I like to use them, is, when I'm doing my mantras in the morning, I'll spray it, just get into that vibe, and then it just, then you're aligned with the energy for the day, and then things go more smoothly.
Absolutely. It's like what you were saying at the beginning, it's a ripple effect, of where are we showing up? How are we showing up in our lives? And for me, like, I was wearing beautiful, fun jewelry. I've always loved jewelry, but it didn't have deep meaning and purpose to me. And so when I started to realize I want everything in my life to be like deep, meaningful to me and really something I connect to, then that's really why I also started Sarvani, because I was like, where is that? Most things are made, in China, and it's not even a real gemstone, but it looks like one and it might feel like one.
So let's talk about the gemstones you use, because I know from, oh gosh, I forget his name. There's a man I met at the Sedona Vedic Astrology conference who deals in Vedic gemstones, because they can't be heat treated or rutilated, because that destroys the natural energy, right? So how do you go about in the process of picking out the gemstones?
Kind of like, just I feel them, and then I just like, ask, kind of like, are you that what I need, or is this, I don't know, there's an intuition around it. And also, like, with the suppliers, some of them I've been working with since I started Sarvani, and we just have a beautiful relationship now, and I trust them. And but also when everything comes through my house, it goes through a selenite wand wash. Right? Gotta have that right above your door.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I have a few pieces of selenite above my door.
That's a piece
Everything
you could
comes in.
make. You can make a piece that goes, a beautiful selenite jewelry piece to put above people's doors. I'll buy one.
Yeah, and then you can wear it too if you don't want to keep it there when you're not wearing it. You can have it home. Yeah, so it just depends on like, how do I connect with this person? Is this person like, do I know that this is overly priced? Is it fair? You know, all of that stuff that goes into it, which comes from just that inner knowing, you know.
Right. Yeah, and I think it's not always easy to find good gemstones that are, you know, not overly heat treated and ruined, you know, and so there's that that selective process of not only finding the right buyer, but then once you get your hands on the gemstones, you have to figure out which ones are juicy, you know.
Yeah. And I love the raw gemstones. Like I barely make anything with faceted. I just love raw. It's so much more unique to me, and like the way that like little different worlds can be, and then, you know, like offshooting in one direction or like have three. Yeah, it's just all so fascinating to me. And that's that natural stuff that I was drawn to as a child, you know.
Yeah, I can just see you outside. That's why I said that in the beginning, because I was just getting this vision of you outside playing, you know, in the yard, just immersed in your little world of things.
Yeah, well, here was what was so special is that my grandparents had a lake house, and we had this little orange boat, and we would go like back behind in this almost like cul-de-sac of the lake, and there was a little beach, and it had all of this mica on it. Mm-hmm. And I was just always like, ooh, like playing and just like and glittery, you know. And I'll get sidetracked when I'm at shows trying to buy, and sparkly syndrome is real and dangerous for the wallet.
It is. Oh gosh. Yeah, I've been there buying my skincare stuff. I mean, I've got to stop buying essential oils. I mean, I'm done. I mean, I have my collection. I have everything I need. I swear. Okay, I have to stop. And now I just have to make because there's some shows coming up, and I just have to get product made, you know. But it's like there's a certain point where it's like it can be an addiction for sure, but it's a healthy addiction, you know. It's not like as long as it doesn't break the wallet.
Yeah, it's for me, it's like an investment. I'm like, so if all of my assets are in gemstones, I'm pretty good, right? I could just start a gem store.
Exactly. Well, and you're in the perfect position in California for this to really take off with, you know, celebrity clientele and things like that, because people love custom made designs. And I love that it's getting the word out about Vedic astrology more, because this is, you know, we're kind of a minority. Most people do Western astrology and they don't know that much about Vedic. So I feel like we're really kind of like ambassadors, you know, for just teaching people about, you know, what I feel is, you know, I think if you're going to be a serious astrologer, you need to do both Western and Vedic. You need to be fluent in both. You know, that's just, you know, my discovery. And I feel like it's so cool to see how it's catching on. You know, Vedic astrology is really becoming popular.
Yeah, I think that would be called a neo astrologer, right?
Yes, yeah, that's what I got my certification with Joni, and so she calls herself a Neo-Vedic astrologer. So that's what I call
Oh,
myself, as a Neo-Vedic astrologer. Um,
yeah.
which just means, I take the best of Western and I incorporate it into Vedic, because really Western is about 10% of Vedic astrology, and Vedic astrology is like the mothership. So you can't just stay
Yeah.
in the 10%. You gotta like incorporate everything. Um, With that being said, let's talk about our custom, the bracelets that you're going to make. I'm so excited, you guys. She's going to develop for me and my line, Uma's Upayas, a special custom bracelet that goes with each planetary elixir. So there'll be 9 in total. And she's going to make, it's going to be like a mix of different stones that are good for that graha, with a little pendant attached that has the glyph for the planet. And these are going to be exclusive just to my website and her website, and it's going to be in conjunction with the elixirs. So they'll be sold as a set, and you can get all 9 together, and I'll give a discount if people buy all 9 together, but it'll be sold, like the sun, and then the sun elixir, and then the bracelet. So each one. And so basically I'm going to use the water-based elixirs for the set, and the oil-based are separate. But I'm excited because, like I said, I love my stretchy bracelets, and I don't have enough. I don't have enough colors.
I know, that's how I feel. I'm like, I love stretch bracelets because they're just so easy,
They're empowering. They're my Wonder Woman bracelets. I feel like I'm like warding off all the negative energy.
Yeah, and you're like covered twice probably with each graha there, right?
Exactly.
At least. Oh my goodness. I love it.
It's so fun though, I swear. Well, when I was a professional belly dancer, I always had to have my rhinestone stretch bracelets. I always felt like I didn't have my costume on until I had those on.
That was the completion of you.
Yes, absolutely.
Nice.
And
yeah.
So what are some of the different stones that you've been thinking of putting in some of the bracelets that you're making for me?
Yeah, so definitely, if we're going to talk about moon, we would do like moonstone. Moonstone comes in a variety of colors too. So there's the white, okay, of course, and then the like peachy moonstone, which is more natural moonstone. And then there's a rainbow moonstone, which would, hit different colors that you can see, kind of like labradorite has that flash of iridescence. And blue lace agate, right?
That's my favorite. And we were talking earlier, I said, I just recently learned that that's a Saturn stone. And I was like, of course, it's blue, right? And you would always think of it as moon. But here's the thing, you guys, the secret helper of the moon is Saturn, because moon is debilitated in Scorpio. Scorpio is ruled by Mars. Mars is exalted in Capricorn, ruled by Saturn. So Saturn is the secret helper to get the moon under control. And that makes sense, because when moon is debilitated in Scorpio, people become very depressed. They get very jealous. They kind of feel rejected. They kind of have that grumpy Eeyore thing kind of going on, isolated kind of feeling. And so, and then moon can get really, full moon fever, right? Kind of freaked out. And so Saturn just tempers it and brings it down a level. And that's all the wonderful blues and purples associated with Saturn. And that's another thing when I switched to Vedic astrology, and I really, because as a dancer, I always loved blues and purples and slower music. And I realized that really I was a Saturn dancer. I love the classical stuff, you know. I love all the romantic, multi-dimensional kind of things.
Mm-hmm.
And really that all of that energy is encapsulated in blue lace agate. And so it's like the perfect remedy for moon, you know.
Yeah.
That with the rainbow moonstone, oh my God, I will never take it off.
Yeah, and so with the sun, I'm looking at sunstone, garnet, and pyrite, because pyrite is super important for humbling the sun's energy, so bringing him down into not so ego-eccentric.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because exalted planets, you guys, any of the planets when they're exalted can be arrogant, but especially Sun. Sun
Mhm.
and Aries, I mean, yes, it's wonderful for physical energy and sports and all of that, but the ego can just get way out of control.
Absolutely. So
Is-
come in.
Isn't pyrite fool's gold?
It is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
So
not really gold, Sun. Get it together, you know.
right? We're just fooling you. And so that's moon, sun, Mars. I'm looking at red jasper, carnelian.
Mhm, mhm.
I wanted to add coral, but I couldn't. I'm not finding like the big enough holes for the beads, which is always a problem too. So I had found some at this last gym show, but then I had to take them back the next day because I was like, no, it wouldn't go through the hole, you know, because
Oh
I use
man.
a really sturdy stretch string, and so I want it to be that thickness, and
Yeah.
I'm not gonna drill the holes through. That's just way too much time for me. Um, so yeah, that would be Mars, and then Mercury, green aventurine, and jade, and malachite.
Ooh, I love malachite. Oh, Beltane's coming up soon, and I was thinking about how cool malachite is because really it's the rust off of copper. Because you'll
Mhm.
only find malachite where copper's present. So of course in Ireland, you know, that
Oh,
stone was very prevalent, and then the copper is used in their jewelry. So this
mhm.
is probably your ancestors, you know. Honestly, you probably have all these Celtic ancestors that made these exquisite designs. I don't know, I love Celtic history, and when you look at some of the history documentaries, they'll show the burials, and all the royals were always you know, buried with their jewelry, and they had the most elaborate, gorgeous designs. But yeah, the red of the copper, like the red hair of Irish people, and then the green, like you know, a green Ireland. I love that combination, and I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, and yeah, they're all going to be different. I'm trying to add 3 like different beads to invoke the Jupiter, because Jupiter relates to the number 3. So more secret things that are don't really talk about.
Yeah.
Go into jewelry that I think about that I don't normally share, but yeah. So using 3 different beads within each bracelet is something special too.
Right. And Jupiter's yellow.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So yeah, so yellow stones. And you know, of course, if you have the money, you can always get a yellow diamond. That's a great, you know, Jupiter. But actually, what is it? Uh oh gosh, blue topaz, yellow topaz. Yellow
Mm-hmm.
topaz is really good for Jupiter.
Yeah, that's this ring that I made for myself, which is really hard to see, but
Oh my gosh, it's
that's
beautiful.
so it was differently shaped, and then it fell on the floor, and
Oh,
then I was just like, I'm just gonna wear it anyways. And I
if
have
you hadn't said anything, I wouldn't have known. I mean, it's gorgeous. I guess that's the way it wanted to be, right?
that's the way it wanted to be. It was like, I don't need this end. Um, yeah, that's one of my favorite pieces that I wear a lot. Um, yeah, and then for Saturn, lapis and amethyst have been chosen. What else?
Rahu K2.
Rahu. So Rahu, the granulated garnet, which is like this green garnet, and an agate too, I think. Yeah. Will be mixed. I do have a few different colors of the green granulated garnet.
Hematite.
Like some,
Hematite's good. Yeah. Like we were saying yesterday, hematite's good for Rahu.
Yeah, I can add hematite. Hematite was super grounding, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah,
nice. It gets the ego under control, you know?
Yeah, yeah. It can magnetically like connects you into the earth. Yeah. So yeah, that would be great. And then K2, I have cat's eye and tiger's eye. So that some of these might only have 2, but we'll see. I might play around.
Yeah, we're still working with it, you know, it's not done yet. But by June, June 12th and 13th, I'll be in Ohio at the Gift of Light Expo, and I'll have the bracelets by then, I'm sure, because it's a few months away. And everything should be up on the website by then. And yeah, I'm really excited.
I'm so excited too. And I'm so excited to meet all these people that are going to love all of this.
Yeah, I know. And that's what I love about shows. Like, yeah, it's fun to sell things online, you know, but I love having my booth open and people coming by. I got a candy dish so people can come and eat some candy with me and hang out. And I've got testers of the elixirs, and then I'm going to have my skincare. I'm just making a few products that I want that I'm going to make anyway. And I thought I might as well sell them, because if I can't find them, and maybe somebody else is looking for something like this, you know?
Right.
It's just like, I know I sell Rodan and Fields, and, you know, you can never compete with a big company like that. And I'm not looking into making like a whole regimen, but just a couple, you know, extra, you know, add in luxury items that I want to make that are affordable and pure. Because I have a lot of allergies, and I just, even though like there's so many companies that I love that they use top quality ingredients, there's still a ton of chemicals in there, you know? And I'm just like, you know what? My sinuses are right here. And if I'm putting on these chemicals right here, then that's just more poison that my body has to flush out. And it's fun to make, you know, because I love to cook. And making skincare products is like cooking, except you're not dealing with heat, you know, too much. I mean, really, you know.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, I think, well, that's funny because when I went to yoga school, and this was 10 plus years ago, I felt like I don't know, like I was embarrassed because I came and I had all these products like secret deodorant and God knows what, like I was Vaseline, you know, and I had my roommates who I just met, and they're like, oh my God, what are you putting on your body? And they were like light years ahead of me in this realm, right? And I was like, what's Vaseline? And they're like, petroleum, you know, like, oh gosh, okay, you know. And then like I had already heard about like The Secret, but I'm just a sweaty individual, and I was like not trying to stink because I was backpacking Southeast Asia. So I just took all of those products and I just threw them in the trash. And same with my hair. Like I wash my hair with vinegar and baking soda. I am as clean as I can be. Like, and
wow. See, I can't do that. The hair products, yeah, I need a little compromise. I mean, the stuff I use is natural, although I really wouldn't eat it. I don't think it would hurt me, but it wouldn't taste very good.
Yeah.
Whereas, you know, ideally, you know, the rule of thumb is if you can eat it,
that's okay.
Then put it on your skin. If you wouldn't eat it, then don't put it on your skin, because your skin is your largest organ. And according to Sandeep, you know, the skin is the planet Mercury, because it relays all of the messages to the other organs. But it's the biggest organ we have. And apparently, if you put something on your skin, it goes to all your organs in 6 seconds.
Yeah. It's your nervous system as well, Mercury is. So it's like
So
all.
I've been getting these massive downloads. I'm like, y'all gotta stop, okay? Because my husband's gonna kill me if I keep making stuff. So, but I'm just like, recipe after recipe is coming through me on just like, simple stuff. And I'm like, oh my God, I really had no idea that it was so easy to make these. So I'm doing that. And I'm going to have all the stuff at the expo. And there's going to be a couple other Gift of Light expos in Ohio. She opened up a couple other dates. So like October, November, I'm going to pick one of those. And then maybe August, but I don't know. And then Conscious Life Expo next year. Hopefully I'm going to be able to be there, and you're going to be able to be there, and everything's going to be back in person again.
Let's share a booth. Let's manifest that.
Seriously. I mean, we could get a much bigger booth if we do it together, because we complement each other. And when you look at our charts, there's so many complementary things. Like, and you taught English conversation in South Korea in what year?
Oh, well, I did it twice. So in 2000 when was that? 8, and then again in 2012. Yeah.
So I was there in 1992.
Oh, wow. I love Korea. What were you doing there?
I was in Busan teaching English conversation.
What?
Yes.
You were one of the forefronts.
I was the first belly dancer in South Korea, honey, and now it has taken off like hotcakes.
Yeah.
But I was teaching English conversation, and I would, teach, classes at home for my Korean girlfriends and some American friends and people from all over the world, and at parties, they'd come dance. It wasn't a professional dancer with costume, but really, I mean, I was probably the first person on the soil of Korea.
Yeah.
To teach a class and now it's crazy popular, and skincare is super popular there too. And so I love South Korea. I love the people. I love the food. I miss the bathhouse. And that's part of why,
totally.
Why I made these products, because the bathhouses in Korea, my Korean girlfriends would bring me, and they would say, oh, we have to bring yogurt and an egg and milk and oatmeal. I was like, why? They're like, we have to do our skincare. I'm like, what are you talking about? And so we'd go there, and they'd take the egg and they'd mix it with the yogurt, right? And then you put in the oatmeal, and we would do a scrub. And then we would rinse it off, and then we take milk and pour milk all over our bodies. And oh my God, makes your skin so soft. And then the women at the bathhouse would make something called oyi, which was shredded cucumber with egg white. And they whip it up, and then they come around and they put this mask on your face.
Wow.
And then I wouldn't let them massage me, because I saw how brutal they were. I was like, oh, no, thank you.
Yeah, there's the space where they just throw you on there, and then they just scrub you down, and hose you down. It's hilarious.
Yeah. The ajumas, the grandmas would come over and scrub my back. I'm like, you can scrub my back, but you ain't giving me a massage. I see what's going on over there.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. How?
But I learned all that stuff there, right? And I only went for a year. It was very traumatizing because this is pre-internet days, honey. So you got to realize 1992, 1993, I felt very isolated.
Oh yeah, and Busan wasn't a huge city to begin with. You're not.
It was 4.5 million people. It was pretty big.
Yeah.
And there was, out of 4.5 million people, there was 1,000 foreigners.
Yeah.
And out of 1,000 foreigners, that was mainly the Hialeah Army military base and the Nike factories, and then us English teachers, right? And then that was maybe 300 to 400 people, and then the rest were people from all over the world. And so, yeah, if I had just waited 3 years, the internet would have been there. It would have been much easier to communicate. But I was afraid that if I stayed there, I was losing touch with my friends back home. you know, and so I wanted to come back home. But I could have stayed and made a lot more money. I should have.
I know, it was amazing. It's such a good gig. I mean, it was then. I was very blessed with the last position I had with adults. I was just, yeah, and some celebrity
Yeah.
adults, which are really fun.
Teaching adults is so, it was so easy. It was like a piece of cake, going to class every day and just, they wanted to learn. So
Oh yeah,
it's always, I guess it's always an option.
always an option. Yeah, absolutely.
I need to go back and visit. But anyway, yeah, there's all these synchronicities that we have. And I just think it's great that Spirit has brought us together to bring out these wonderful products. These are like downloads that we're just, you know, channeling so that we can get this frequency out so that people can calm down, you know, because so many people are just, their nervous systems are shot right now.
Yeah.
You know, the pandemic has just pushed us over the edge, and it's time to get back to nature, get back to self-care, get back to bathing rituals, you know, just the subtle energies, and just like bringing ourselves back to
The breath.
alignment. Yeah, back to the breath.
Yeah, it's very challenging to breathe, I think, for most people. So, and I think that's where people are losing their mind a little bit with that, you know, not being able to breathe properly.
Absolutely.
In masks all day. It's starting to really take its toll, and it's very scary.
Thank you. Yes, absolutely. I mean, when because I taught belly dance for a long time, 30 years. Mm-hmm. And always the upper body movements are the hardest for Americans because we are taught to breathe, you know, hyperventilation breath up here. And we can't breathe from our diaphragm. And opening up people's diaphragms is like one of the hardest things. It takes about 6 months of exercises to get people to just be able to move their rib cage around, you know? Yeah, and especially now we're just holding so much in.
I know. And it's also like people are alone still. And I haven't experienced that, thank God. And I just want to say that, like, if you are feeling alone, we're both here for you. We're both very empathetic, caring souls. And if you want to reach out to us, I'm sure we will be there to talk to you about anything.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And this is the intersection that people need to understand of Ayurveda, Jyotishi, and all forms of yoga, because what we do is, you know, hatha yoga, which is the physical form, but there's bhakti yoga, which is chanting. Those are the mantras. That's something I don't throw out there too much, but maybe I should start saying that, you know, because really you need to do all three facets of the Indian pantheon to get the benefit of any one of them. Like, you can't just do yoga. You can't just do Jyotishi. You can't just do Ayurveda. You have to do all three. And then it's like, wow, you know, it all comes together.
Yeah. And mantra can be that devotional. Like, I heard how you were chanting mantra when we sat before we started this. And I was like, wow, she's really like made it her own, where I do it just to do it. And I'm like, well, I could really beautify my mantra. That's what I was thinking.
Well, that's the thing. You can do anything you want. There's no, I mean, all mantras have like a sing-songy kind of way we do them. But you know what?
Sure.
Guess what? There's no right way to do that part of it. You can make it into a song. You can change the rhythm. You know, you can add it with another mantra. And it's the things that come to you that feel natural and align you with those deities.
Totally. And even just singing in general will be helpful for the moon, the mind. I mean, if that's something that somebody hasn't done in a while, you have permission to turn on some beats and like sing, or go in the shower and sing if you don't want people to hear you. But yeah, or get in the car and like scream and sing. That's probably the best.
Well, and whenever one of my astrology teachers, Simon Chokoisky, whenever he starts a new class, he plays Ganesh is Fresh, which is It's a
Yeah.
rap song. You know, about Ganesh is fresh, man. You know?
Is that DMC? Who is that? Yeah.
I think you're right. I forget the name
like
of the artist. But yeah, it's on YouTube. You can look it up.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's all sorts of ways to connect with these deities because
Right.
we're the ones that are stuck in time.
Right. We're
They're not stuck in time. They don't care if something is, you know, modern or whatever, as long as you have that frequency to it, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that intention. Yeah, we are stuck in the human suit. And that's why it's best if, I mean, if you want to stay in this realm, to take care of your vehicle, right? And that's really what Ayurveda teaches. And longevity and preventative care. Like, so we don't have to go to the Western model system. So we can stay within nature, and so that we can really understand, okay, why do I eat, you know, warm foods in the winter? And why do I eat cooler foods in the summer? Basic things that we should know that we are so lost in this.
I know. And it's really, I mean, a lot of it is we have to just listen to what our literally our gut is saying. Like in the winter, I don't want to eat salad.
Right.
You know, I don't want to eat it. And that's my body's way of saying, you know what, salad is not in season. You have permission to not eat salad right now. And it's like, yay. And so what I do, I make coleslaw. I'll make a big batch of coleslaw and we'll have that with dinner or put it on fajitas, you know, tacos, whatever. And you know, cabbage is a winter vegetable and I want to eat that, you know? So it's like I'm still getting that vegetable family in, it's just a different form, you know? And so and then the bugs and the bacteria associated with it that go to our gut that keep our immunity healthy, you know? That's the seasonal part that it all fits together. And I'm so excited that we are coming into a new Jupiter in Aquarius phase here, April 5th coming up. And I love working. I love serving. I love getting out there and meeting people and just chewing the fat, you know, and so you know, spring is here and your designs are coming and everything's coming together. So thank you so much for joining me today for our discussion. And I'm so blessed. I've got goosebumps right now that so many good things are coming for us this year. And I want to wish you all the best and your family and your little doggy and all the best health and blessings.
Oh, likewise, sending them right back to you.
Yeah.